We're just anchoring up in Russell, New Zealand's first capital city. I can't wait to start exploring.
So as you guys can see, it's raining quite a lot, so today we made our way to Russell. The good thing with Russell is that the ferry across is really cheap, it's $1, and the ferry with your car is really cheap. Also, it's $5.
The car ferry to Russell is just a quick drive away from Paihia in a place called Opua Bay, and the departures are literally every 10 minutes, so we don't have to wait for long.
On top of being super cheap, the crossing actually is super quick as well. It only takes us about 10 minutes to cross our way to Russell. Despite the fact that you actually can drive to Russell, but you know, that's a huge time saver to take the ferry, and you know, for a few dollars, why not? As we are unboarding from the ferry, we are now heading to Russell. It's only a short drive, about 5 minutes until we reach the little township, but the weather is really not playing ball with us, so we decide to find ourselves a tour so we can hear all the history of Russell.
It was a really wild sort of a town. Along the waterfront here, there would have been 17 grog shops and brothels, so it was quite an interesting sort of a place.
Nice, we can have a good time.
There could be as many as 25 ships in the bay here at any given time. There was no police force here of any kind at all until the late 1830s. So it was a really, really wild sort of a town, well known as the hellhole of the Pacific.
Our guide Chris from Russell Mini Tours tells us all about the fascinating history of Russell, because yes, Russell actually used to be the first capital of New Zealand. As we learnt yesterday when we were at the Waitangi Treaty Grounds, we learnt that the Bay of Islands area, which we're in right now, was actually where the nation of New Zealand began, so there is so much history to unpack here. The first part of the tour takes us along the waterfront where we see rows and rows of heritage buildings which were built around the 1800s. They're made out of kauri, which are these huge tall trees which are now protected in New Zealand, and the foundations apparently are made out of whalebone. How crazy is that? Chris shares with us loads of local stories and the who's who of the town.
So we just learned that the policeman's home is also the jail, so literally the guy is living next to the cell of the guy he just put in jail.
Because Russell was the first capital of New Zealand, that's the place where a lot of firsts happened. It was the first swordfish club settlements, God knows why. It was also the place where the first church was built. It was also the place where the first hotel and pub was, which we're going to be checking out a little bit later. And it was also the place where the first Christian wedding took place in New Zealand. After checking out the town, we are gonna be taking some altitude. We are heading to Flagstaff Hill, which is a major historical point here in Russell, and it is also an awesome place to get an amazing bird's eye view of the town. And speaking of birds, we are checking out some birds as soon as we arrive on the car park. Those are not kiwi birds, they are wekas. Yeah. They are basically the tourists' kiwi bird, because a lot of tourists usually think that they are seeing a kiwi bird, while this bird is actually very common. And a fun fact, we haven't seen wekas on the North Island so far, so we are stoked to see them right here. But enough about that, we are heading to Flagstaff Hill and Flagstaff itself. And there is something very obvious about this very Flagstaff right here. Not only the view is pretty, but there is no flag.
Laura, where's the flag on Flagstaff?
Well, the flag kept being pulled down by Honeheke, one of the Maori warriors from back in the day, or one of the chiefs. He kept pulling it down because the British were assholes. And they still are to this day.
There are two sections to Flagstaff Hill. There's the side with the flagstaff on it, and then there's a little walkway to this giant sundial on top of a mosaic map of the Bay of Islands, which is a good place to get your bearings while you're up here at this amazing viewpoint. And we can see the different bays and inlets of the islands, we can see the boat harbour and the little town of Russell itself. As we make our way back toward Russell, Chris shows us a few beaches and bays before heading to a section of the town with a few quirkier houses which he tells us more about.
Moving houses in New Zealand is very common, especially up here in the north. Physically moving the buildings. Yeah. This one came from Whangarei, about an hour south of here, 3 years ago.
Russell Mini Tours has been an awesome way to see most of the town without getting wet, which is really crucial for us right now since Robin's cast can't get wet. But before we leave Russell, there's a couple of more things that we want to check out.
What are you doing, Robin?
I'm literally doing what you asked me. There you go, your
What
shot.
are you doing in there?
Welcome to the hellhole of the Pacific.
Alright, so after a well-deserved public humiliation right in the city centre of Russell, we are now heading to the Duke of Marlborough.
So we are in the oldest licensed pub in New Zealand.
Alright, so since we are in the oldest hotel and pub in New Zealand, we are not going to be ordering a pint of beer. We are going to be ordering a flagon of ale. What is it, you may ask? Well, exactly a pint of beer. The whole place looks so historical. It's decorated with a ton of ancient relic from back in the days, especially a ton of whaling relic, because Russell was a whaling hotspot. Not that we agree with killing whales all around, but that's a part of New Zealand history.
You're looking very ravishing today, Robin. Is that a new funky sling you have?
Well, yeah, it's actually I can't let the field.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna have
You
a
should
white
get some
bow tie right
patches
here.
for it.
So after you guys witnessed Laura's worst pickup line ever, we are finishing a pint of beer and heading back toward Paihia. To make our way there, we are taking the ferry back. It's the same price on the way back, so it's still only $5 for our car and the both of us. It's a super short trip. We get to see Russell from a whole new perspective, which is really cool. And on top of that, we save heaps of time, because if you choose not to take the ferry and drive over land to get back to Paihia, it takes ages. I mean, no joke, it is a waste of half a day. We are now heading for Bay's PV Patch, where we're going to be spending a nice relaxing evening.
Do all sorts of different things with it.
Yeah.
Oh. This is not one of the activities we're going to be doing in New Zealand's biggest gap year. I'm telling you right now, guys.
Shrinking Robin's
We are
head.
not shrinking Laura's head.